Hello once again and a very warm good evening to you all. और आज हम शुरुआत करेंगे we're going to start building up to the next series क्योंकि काफी चर्चा हो चुकी है कि न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट क्या किया इंडिया ने. But at the same time, it's important to be optimistic. It's important to look ahead, and I think Team India needs to look ahead. As fans, we need to look ahead, and that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to try to do today in today's show. We're going to look forward to the BGT, और हम बात करेंगे इंडिया के bowling attack से, because that is going to be one of the key weapons for India going into Australia. As always, we have a full panel for discussion. Let's welcome them on online with us. We have the Bayan Datta, we have Nitin Nayak, and we have Sahil Malhotra joining us on the show today. Welcome, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thank you.
Okay, so let's set the base first of this discussion. Ki dekho, today we are going to talk about the BGT, and the Border-Gavaskar Trophy is coming very quickly on the horizon. 10th in 4 days' time, the team is going to leave for Australia. Uh, Comment already aa gaya hai. When is the Indian team leaving? From what I understand, they're leaving on the 10th. So, and with the whole squad travel together or in separate flights. No, usually they travel together in one flight. I don't think Rohit Sharma is going yet, so he will probably go on later. But the team is traveling very, very soon. So they're going to go there. They're going to have a camp. They're going to have a preparatory um, match wicket practice, if we can say so, in Perth at the Waka, if I believe. And then they go into the first test. And before the second test, they'll have a day night practice game, which is a 2 day game. So this is the practice schedule. And then, of course, there are the 5 test matches. So आज हम बात करने वाले हैं कि Indian team, setting the base here, the Indian team, their primary weapon in Australia is going to be the pace bowling attack. So, guys, first of all, I want to get your thoughts on, ठीक है जो हो गया न्यूजीलैंड के अगेंस्ट, it's done now, it's in the past, let's look forward. अगर आपको आगे देखना है towards the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, how are you guys looking at it? Let's start with Upayan and then to Nitin and then Sahil, of course.
Uh, if
Yeah.
we look at the bowling attack, like just the if you will, just the bowling attack of the Indian team, then yes, as the tagline says, it is over reliant on Jasprit Bumrah. There's no doubt about it, and we are going to sorely miss Mohammad Shami. As Gaurav Gupta had reported yesterday that he will be out for some more
Yeah.
time, and so we can all but say that he will probably not be there. So his experience, his quality, his ability to reverse swing the ball, take wickets with the
Hmm.
new ball, everything will be missed. So
Hmm.
it's going to be a massive challenge, and
Hmm.
Siraj has not been at his best. So and
So Dopal, let me
Akash,
interject here. Let me interject here.
yeah,
Forget the bowling attack for a moment. हम उस पे आएंगे, हम उसके बारे में बात करेंगे. We'll get all your points,
uh,
all your thoughts on this. But at the
right.
same time, I want you to set up the series. How do you look at it in the backdrop of what's happened against New Zealand? How are you, as a cricket fan, as a cricket reporter, looking at it?
Uh, Looking at it with a sense of trepidation, like I'm worried
Hmm.
the way it has gone.
Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
worried. I Because more than the defeat, it's the way the confidence has taken a beating. And cricket is a game
Yeah.
where if your confidence takes a beating again before a series like this, it is not easy to come back from that. But I think they have done a good thing by choosing to go about 12 days before and have a 10-day practice, a camp kind of a thing at Waka, where they get to bat at the center wicket, sort the things out, and take it from there. So I hope at the end of the day, cricket of this day and age is about the final preparation. These are players with ability. So it is the preparation, how they tune up to the bouncy pitches, and one thing I am slightly happier about is the fact that this time it's bounce, and bounce is not as scary a proposition for the likes of Virat, Rohit, or even I guess
For the batting lineup.
Yashasvi or Shubman
Hmm.
also, like as that left arm spin is. So let's see. Like I am slightly worried,
Okay.
but
We need
I hope against
yeah.
hope that things will be good.
Okay. We'll take all of your comments. Your comments keep us going in the show as well. So keep sending in your comments. We'll be discussing your comments as well one by one. So Nitin Gopayan says ki trepidation. That's how he's looking at this series. Thoda sa he's worried. Of course you are going to be worried with the way Indian batting has done. But what is your thought? As a cricket fan, how are you looking forward to this Australian series?
Generous pessimism is what
Generous
I will.
pessimism. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, large doses of pessimism. I am not very confident about this bowling attack doing well. As Vaipan rightly said, we are going to big time miss Shami. Siraj, I
Hmm.
don't know who or when they advised him to cut short his run up,
Hmm.
and that I think has thrown his rhythm off completely. He was bowling off a longer run
Hmm.
up till the time of the World T20. Suddenly, I don't know what has happened. He's coming off a shorter run up that has, I think, robbed him of his rhythm as well as his pace. And I think generally what happens is to rediscover your pace with a shorter run, you require at least 8 to 10 months and adequate game time. And that should have been done ideally much before, not in the middle of the season. And I think I don't know who advised him, and I don't know why that advice was taken on board so quickly. But without, and God forbid, if something happens to Jasprit Bumrah, we are doomed. Because don't forget, even in India, even in the series against England, it was Jasprit Bumrah's spell in Vizag that brought you back. Those two
Yeah.
deliveries to
Okay.
Pope
So.
and to Root. So
Hmm.
and here and off color Jasprit Bumrah, you saw a mildly off color Jasprit Bumrah in this series against New Zealand, and you saw what happened. I
Hmm.
mean, because his striking early or
Hmm.
him coming back with the new old ball and or semi old ball and striking gives a lot of fillip even to the spinners like Ashwin and Jadeja.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
in this
So
series, I think
yeah.
for the first time we saw him off color.
Okay, so अभी तक हमारे जो दो पैनलिस्ट हैं वो तो कह ही चुके हैं कि they are looking at it with a little bit of trepidation, a little bit of worrying point, a little bit of pessimism, and in a way they have set the base in terms of different bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah is going to be very important. Siraj, shorter run up, what is happening there? Shami, we're going to miss Shami. हम अब साहिल को लेते हैं and let him set the stage because we have a traveling pack, a good traveling pack. Let him set the stage. Harshit Rana है वहाँ पे, he's the uncapped specialist player pacer who's going there. साहिल, how are you looking forward to this series? कहीं पे आपको optimism नजर आता है? ठीक है, forget the batting, and as Dopayan has said कि bounce is something that will probably suit the Indian batters a lot more. कहीं पे आपको in terms of overall optimism नजर आता है? How are you looking forward to this series?
No, I think fragility and fragileness is
Hmm.
something which is underlining the build up to the series when it comes to batting and when it
Hmm.
comes to the fitness of the bowlers we are carrying along.
Yeah.
We'll kind of discuss deeply when it comes to the bowling attack, but fragile is the kind of build up I'm looking at right now. Mixed emotions before the New Zealand series. This was the series to look forward to, and right now you'll find people even skipping waking up early in the morning because there's actually very little to look forward to now because अब माहौल एकदम से बदल गया है वो न्यूजीलैंड वाले रिजल्ट के बाद सो बीइंग वरिड इज फाइन बट मेरे को बहुत वो फ्रेजिलिटी वाला फीलिंग आ रहा है कि वो सॉलिडिटी का आपको कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है इंस्पिरेशन नहीं मिल रहा आपको कि will we turn it around? We had that inspiration even after that 36 all out, even when Ajinkya Rahane led the side, and वो second test से आपको फिर भी you had that hope that these kids could do something special. I'm mentioning kids क्योंकि बहुत उसमें players थे who were just net bowlers and who turned up and played a test match for the country. So
Hmm.
that kind of build up is missing. That kind of assurance is missing. Maybe it's because of the coach. Maybe it's because of the support staff. I don't know. But वो missing
हाँ.
है. वो मेरे
Hmm.
मेरे जहन से मिसिंग है वो वाला फीलिंग जो मेरे को लास्ट बॉर्डर गवास्कर ट्रॉफी के टाइम था पर्सनल बट
Yeah,
यस दैट्स हाउ आई लुकिंग एट इट
yeah, it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point कि आप compare करो कि last two times we went there. 2014 में we went there. It was a transitioning Indian team. MS Dhoni was not available for the first Test match. विराट was leading a transitioning side. और वो टेस्ट मैच देख के एडलेड में लग गया था कि हाँ एक नए कैप्टन का टाइम आ गया है. Then you went back with that same captain, with the same squad that had really grown. Coach had grown in his role, Ravi Shastri. They went there, they were properly prepared. Big factor, Steve Smith and David Warner were not there. Like, let's not take it away from the Indian team the way they played. क्योंकि bowling attack तो proper था ऑस्ट्रेलिया का. And then you go to 2021, they played their socks off, right? Especially with all the additions, really you see किन किन कह सकते हैं ना किन किन परिस्थितियों से या किन किन स्पीड ब्रेकर्स से इंडिया को निपटना पड़ा था for that 2021 series. So, yeah, now let's talk about the particular points. Will Indian pace attack be over reliant on Jasprit Bumrah? I think yes. Let's start with Dwapayan. Dwapayan, what are the salient features of this pace attack? What do you like about India's pace attack? Let's have the squad on the screen as well. Let's take a look at the squad. Who are the pacers? We have Siraj, we have Akashdeep, we have Bumrah. These are going to be our frontline bowlers. And then you look at a Prasidh Krishna, who's not proven anything really. You know, talent hai, ability hai, hame pata hai, but he's not proven anything really. And at the same time, you have a Harshit Rana, good ability, a lot of good talk about him, but again, uncapped and untested bowler. So, how do you look at the composition of this pace attack?
Over
Go ahead.
reliant on Bumrah. The first things first, it's over reliant on Bumrah, missing Shami as I said before, and I am what I am really worried about is the workload factor for Bumrah. Like if you
Okay.
are always looking at wickets from Bumrah, like at the beginning of the innings, middle of the innings, towards the end of the day, you cannot bowl Bumrah 18 overs a day for 5 test matches. Like I remember a similar thing happening to Javagal Srinath long back in South Africa, and he suffered an injury and then he could not go to West Indies, which cost us the series.
Hmm.
So I because and if the pressure becomes too much on Jasprit Bumrah, if he has to bowl too much,
Hmm.
given his body, given the history of his injuries and everything, I'm slightly worried. Now the thing is, for the first test, I think they will play Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep, and if they play a fourth pacer, will want to make the team batting heavy. So maybe
Hmm.
Nitish Reddy, though he's a
Hmm.
125-ish bowler,
Hmm.
so I am
Hmm.
not
Hmm.
very
Okay.
hopeful about him. If he can do that Shardul Thakur role, that
Yeah.
also works well.
Hmm.
Works okay. I would have loved Hardik Pandya if he had
Yeah.
got.
In fact,
It would have been a huge boost.
in fact, I want to add here. Yeah, in fact, I want to add here, Hardik ke baare mein, I've been getting a couple of calls in terms of overseas, overseas cricket journalists who are following Indian cricket, who are following Australian cricket. They've been inquiring what is happening with Hardik Pandya. Why isn't he on the plane to Australia or part of the squad to Australia? Uh, I think you mentioned 91, 92 tour, right, Dopayan? In terms
No,
of
no, no. It was 96, 96, 97.
96.
The,
Yeah, 96,
back to back,
97. Okay.
back to back tours of South Africa and West Indies.
And West
So
Indies, but also
yeah.
92 tour, जहाँ पे last time 5 tests India played, and you had Kapil Dev on his last legs, you had Manoj Prabhakar there, so
Hmm,
that also, and वहाँ पे you had the ODI World Cup as well. It was a very
hmm,
lengthy tour. It just became undone really. So lengthy
right.
tours in Australia can really cost you. Let's also now start taking comments क्योंकि सारे comments जो है ना हमारी conversation में बुनने वाले हैं. रीत सावला कह रहे हैं, will Bumrah play all 5 test matches? I think that is going to be a very crucial point for India's fortunes in Australia, right, Nitin?
Yeah, he has to. He has to play all 5 tests. Now that he is also stand-in captain and vice captain,
Hmm.
there's no option for him but to play all
Hmm.
5 tests.
Hmm.
There's just no option for him. He has to play
Okay.
all 5 tests.
And okay, and when you go to Perth, let's talk about Perth a bit. Dopayan said, ki, okay, you know what could be the potential bowling attack over there. I think India's starting bowling attack has to be what Dopayan said. You know, Bumrah, Akashdeep, and Siraj. और हमने देखा है पर्थ में 2018 में they had rolled out a green top. India played 4 pacers over there. Then you might think, okay, if it's a green top once again, लेकिन अब वो drop in pitch use कर रहे हैं पर्थ में at the new Optus Stadium. So it might not be a green top, it might be a flat wicket, who knows? But it could be conditions dependent. But ये तीन आपके शायद starting pacer रहेंगे नितिन. What do you have to say?
Bilkul, bilkul, bilkul. And Nitish Kumar Reddy, because you will
Hmm.
need 4 quicks over there. Because
Hmm.
also remember there's a very strong breeze that blows there, and one bowler will have to bowl against that breeze all the time. Uh,
Okay.
so he would tire out very quickly. So you have to
Okay.
factor in that as well. So
Okay.
I think, and you will, and what I feel here would happen is this Australian team is not going to play baseball, which will give you chances to pick wickets. This
Hmm.
Australian team will look to grind out this Indian attack, get
Hmm.
more miles under their legs, tire
Hmm.
them out, and then go for the kill and put up a big score. And without at least four quicks, you're not going to survive over there.
निशान झा पूछ रहे हैं यहाँ पर, we'll wait for Sahil to come back. निशान झा पूछ रहे हैं नीतीश कुमार रेड्डी over शार्दुल. What do you think, Nitin? What is the explanation there? Have the selectors completely said, कि, okay, हम शार्दुल, we are moving beyond शार्दुल. We're not going to take शार्दुल anymore. We're not going to consider him. क्या हम इस situation पे पहुंच गए हैं? And Nitish Reddy, again, we're talking about raw players. Nitish Reddy, he's part of the India A squad. He's a raw player, right? We're looking at somebody who's never had that test match experience and then to have test match experience in Australia. How do you look at this question?
But raw players in Australia generally from India have done well. Be it Siraj
Last
and
one, yeah.
Gill last time,
Yeah.
Natarajan, Shardul, Washington. In the 90s, it was Tendulkar, Srinath.
Hmm.
So historically, raw players from India have done well in Australia. So I
Okay.
would not worry about. I think in terms of Shardul, I think he had a bad game at Centurion on a bowling friendly pitch, very bold, very badly, and also the WTC final he batted well, but I think he leaked a lot of runs, and I don't think in Australia you can afford to leak runs.
Hmm. Okay, let's bring Sahil into the conversation with Priyanshu's comments. Priyanshu says, Sahil bhai, Delhi boy Harshit Rana aag lagayega, and then he goes on to say, my dark horse is Harshit Rana. He will emerge as a hero in this series. Sahil, your thoughts on this? क्योंकि you look at two. जब आप ऑस्ट्रेलिया जाते हो, you don't only take your three frontline pacers. आपका fourth pacer is also a frontline pacer, क्योंकि आपको कभी भी चार पेसर खिलाने की जरूरत पड़ सकती है. And then your fifth one is your actual backup. And then
Yeah.
obviously you have those traveling reserves nowadays. उसका एक आजकल fashion चल पड़ा है. You may interchange, you may add on to the squad here. But again, Harshit Rana uncapped. That's his first class figure there. 10 matches in first class cricket. I mean, that's not a lot of experience. Obviously, he's done really well. He's talked up really highly. Gautam Gambhir rates him highly. And at the same time, Prasidh Krishna, again, he's played some first class cricket, he's played some test cricket, but again, very untested. So, जो backup है India का, it's very raw. It's not there overall. How do you look at it? हमने top three तो हमारे गिना दिए जो हमारे first three starting होने वाले हैं. How do you look at this and how do you look at this comment?
No, see, Harshit Rana, first impression, he'll kind of give you that impression that he's tailor made for conditions like Australia.
Hmm.
Heavily built in the sense, not fat or, extra weight, but thoda heavily built and, can put those extra yards. वो good length को hard length को hit करता है. And his first complete Ranji season for Delhi, I covered him very closely. And some lifeless pitches at the Kotla when he bowled that spell against Tamil Nadu, where he got both Baba, Indrajit, and Aparajit out to short balls at catching positions, short mid wicket position. So दिखता था कि पूरा दिन effort डाल सकता है. But what happened the next season? He missed the entire season due to a hamstring injury, if I'm not wrong. Went
Hmm.
back to the drawing board, lost around 17, 18 kgs, is looking very fit, looking very sharp, has confidence on his side, backing of the coach by his side. But अभी आप उसको कितना कम क्रिकेट खिलाकर लेकर जा रहे हो, you have to factor that in. Australian conditions are ideal for him, but it is also ideal for a youngster to get carried away on conditions like these, right? So
Yeah.
that is why I feel Mukesh Kumar, I was very surprised that he was not part of the main squad. What he did for the India A unit, I think he picked
Yeah.
nine wickets in that first game, 6 wicket
Yeah.
in the first innings. I saw highlights, the way he was bowling, he was looking very good. And Chetan, we discussed how much we need that workhorse in Australia, जो एक टप्पा पकड़ के डालता रहे relentlessly from one end. And Mukesh Kumar and Akashdeep probably are the two bowlers who inspire a lot of confidence, primarily because they are used to bowling longer
Yeah.
spells in the domestic circuit. आकाशदीप
Hmm.
उतना टेस्ट नहीं हुआ इवन इंडिया के लिए, क्योंकि वो चार चार पांच पांच ओवर के शॉर्ट बर्स्ट के लिए आता है. अपने डेब्यू में भी आई थिंक उसने सेकंड इनिंग्स में तो शायद बॉल भी नहीं डाला था. सो all these things combined, I would have wanted personally, Ajit Agarkar probably was thinking something else, but I would have wanted someone like a Mukesh Kumar there. I still don't understand for what joy we have carried Navdeep Saini there. I don't know what they've seen him in the last 4-5 months, क्योंकि जितना हम क्रिकेट उसका ट्रैक करते हुए आए हैं, and from what he's being spoken about in Delhi circles as well, Delhi could well drop him from the Ranji Trophy squad very soon, yeah, if he continues to bowl the way he is. So, abhi matlab, I don't know why that backing. अगर गंभीर को अपने प्लेइंग डेज याद आ रहे हैं वेयर ही फॉट दैट बैटल अगेंस्ट द एसोसिएशन टू गेट हिम इनटू द स्क्वाड, वो अलग बात है. बट नवदीप सैनी टू मी वाज अ बिग सरप्राइज. आई थॉट आवेश खान शुड हैव बीन देयर. Clearly, Avesh should have been there. He has
Yeah.
completely fallen off the radar the moment Ajit Agarkar took over as chairman. I don't know what happened there, but Avesh Khan एकदम से slip करता 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 MP का रणजी रेगुलर बना दिया गया दोबारा. So Harshit Rana exciting, but I would have wanted Mukesh and Prasidh. I think it was one South Africa game only where he lacked so much control that it wasn't funny. Both him and Shardul Thakur were leaking runs close to
Yeah.
5 and over during that one passage
Yeah.
of play where South Africa just took the game away from India. So probably
And in
these
fact,
things
that
will
was a
happen.
passage of play that India really, yeah, that was a passage
And,
of play that, if I remember correctly, that India really
and
needed to
Chetan,
control.
you mentioned control. I think that's a very important factor going in Australia because वो control maybe आपको spinners ना दे पाए day one or day two of the game. So you need your faster bowlers to bottle ends up. Bottling ends up will also going to be very important in Australia, and I only see Mukesh Kumar kind of doing that job, but unfortunately he's just a reserve right now. At least for the
Okay,
first two tests. I see him
yeah.
playing the third test.
Okay, let's take Anirban Banerjee's comment. He says, I believe we have a potential attack to take 20 wickets, but baffling selection and tactical blunders may again cost us. I'm not saying it's a tactical blunder or a selection blunder already, लेकिन मैंने इसी शो पे कहा है कि मुकेश कुमार should have been in the squad because he is a workhorse bowler. और देखो इंडिया ए के लिए उसने क्या करके दिखाया है. I stand by my point here that Mukesh Kumar should have been in the squad. Let's take a few more comments here. Ashish says Bumrah will need support from Siraj, and Mukesh Kumar will be more effective than Akashdeep. He's relentless with his line, though he has less pace. These are very important points. Why? I'll tell you why. Because when you're going, when you go to places like Brisbane or Perth, when the pitch, or even MCG for that matter, and the pitch, ठीक है, जो आपकी शुरुआत में आपका घास था और मॉइस्चर था, वो एक बार ड्राई आउट हो जाए ना, एंड द कुकाबोरा गो सॉफ्ट, उसके बाद जो रन बनते हैं ना बॉस, आपको कंट्रोल करने वाला चाहिए, एंड दैट आई थिंक इस इंडियन अटैक में इज रियली मिसिंग. एंड गोपायन and Nitin, I'll take your thoughts on this. Siraj, you expect somebody like Siraj, having played in Australia, having had so much experience, in a way he's grown into India's second, test bowler or a third test bowler, a speedster really. But उनकी bowling देख के ऐसे लगता नहीं है. That's not really coming across. How big a negative point is it going to be if we get the recent Siraj and not the Siraj that we saw in 2020-21?
Not even 2021, even in 2023 also he was bowling really well. Like this has been, I think it is a kind of a drop in confidence or something like that, that we haven't seen the best of Siraj. Even in the ODI World Cup he didn't do too well. T20 World Cup he got dropped in the second half, and now in the test matches also. So something is like, maybe as Nitin said, he has cut down on his run up. There is something that is not happening for him at the moment. But if Siraj does well anywhere, it has to be Australia, and the bounce that he will get, I think that should help him. Like on a pitch, the pitch that we will play on in Perth. Like I remember in that venue we had that drop in pitch for that match against South Africa in that T20 World Cup a couple of years ago, and
Yeah.
the bounce was tennis ball bounce. So Siraj should be okay. And another thing I will say that I have been seeing, right. I had seen him in Chennai, and I've been watching him on TV. This Morny Morkel has been working with Prasidh Krishna a lot. Like I think he sees some sort of potential in Prasidh Krishna, maybe a bowler of in his mold, tall, back of the
Mm,
length, and
mm,
Perth in mind. So
mm.
keep an eye, like, and he played the India A game, wasn't great, but he has
Mm.
gone there. So I'm very keen to see if they use him in suddenly, if they play him in Perth, because Morny Morkel has been working with him right from the beginning of the series, of the season. That's what I
Okay.
have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. एंड इन अ वे प्रसिद्ध कृष्णा के लिए आई वुड से इट्स अ मेक और ब्रेक टाइम कि बॉस आपको अगर कुछ करके दिखाना है इंडियन टीम के लिए इस इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे, क्लियरली द सिलेक्टर्स लाइक यू, क्लियरली द इंडियन टीम मैनेजमेंट अक्रॉस टू कोचेस, across the think tank, they like you, they want you to do and deliver. And I think right now is the time. Sonak Ghosh keh rahe hain Shardul has more contribution in overseas wins than Rohit Sharma. Hilarious, he's not in the squad. Let's not compare there. But again, the point here is that Shardul does have contribution overseas, and it's important कि आप एकदम से move on ना कर जाओ. But let's go back to what Dopayan said, Nitin. If there's any place where Siraj should be at his best, it's Australia. And I think the reason primarily for me is जो उसकी natural length है, which is back of length bowling. In Australia, that is the length. That is the length you'd really target, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, that's the length from which he got a lot of wickets last time also, and especially in that Melbourne first innings when Australia chose to bat first, and I think he was the one who got the breakthroughs after Ashwin and Jadeja got the early wickets using the moisture in the pitch, and I think Siraj bowled beautifully with the semi-new ball, and even in Brisbane where he got a 5 for, he bowled beautifully. And in South Africa in Cape Town, he won you a test match. But I just hope that he sorts out his run up and his rhythm, and he needs to rediscover that ball that leaves the right hander.
Yeah.
He seems to have lost it. Because that was a delivery that worked well for him in Australia last time.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And these are the numbers for Mohammad Siraj. मतलब कहाँ खो गया यार ये bowler? 3 टेस्ट मैच खेला, 13 विकेट, 5 for 73, 29.5, and he was going through such a rough patch at that time. He had lost his father because of the bubble. He could not go back. It was not really possible to travel back, but he overcame that personal loss and he proved himself. And of course, Sydney, I think there was some racial slur against him as well. So he overcame a lot of stuff in that tour, on that tour. लेकिन ये कहाँ गया bowler? Has it been, Dwapayan, has he been overbowled? Has he not been managed properly? We've seen in IPL he's going for almost 9 and over for RCB. That has had some impact. Obviously, that is going to have some sort of impact, isn't it?
What I feel is that this Siraj started off as a proper red ball bowler, but somehow because
Yeah.
of this white ball season coming along and a very crucial white ball season that we had, so I think I'm guessing that his concentration might have shifted to white ball for a while, and
Hmm.
sometimes this red ball, white ball, like
Yeah.
everyone at this stage of their careers are not very comfortable with in both the formats. If it's
Yeah.
everyone is not a genius, so
Yeah.
that could be a case, and I think it is a slightly lack of confidence at this stage
Hmm.
of his career, that is what is hurting him. And when playing in India, there is also the issue of a certainty in the 11, which he
Yeah.
is no longer a certainty. That also
Yeah.
sometimes starts playing in the mind. So,
Yeah.
although there can be numerous factors to it, but he is a quality bowler. The bowler that I saw him even in South Africa some time ago, like he is a quality bowler, and I think if he has to Australia should be the place where he should do well. He started off so well. He has pace. He can give you wickets at different junctures of the game. Uh, he's aggressive. So there are a lot of positives running in favor of Siraj. So if you,
Yeah.
and
But
but yeah,
I just want to add something here. Sometimes what happens is I think he gets carried away, Nitin. Uh, I'm not going to say कि he's copied this trait from some other player, लेकिन ये बहुत दिखा है उन recently उनके खेल में. Bowling and all is fine. As a pacer, we've seen pacers get on top of batters when they're doing really well, when they're really troubling batters. आपने 4 विकेट ले लिए हैं और जो नया बैटर आया है आप उसको अच्छे से सुना रहे हो कि बेटा तुम तो गए. But Siraj, even when he's not been bowling well, he's been trying to get into the head of the batters. Is that something he should control? I mean, we are on the outside. We're on the outside. देखने में बहुत मजा आता है, enjoyment लगता है. But sometimes, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes he has a habit of getting carried away. Is that something that maybe he needs to control? Maybe that's something that a team management needs to ask him to control.
If it is affecting his bowling, then I think he should control it. But if it is affecting his batting, then I think he should control it. Because I think he has a habit of getting carried away. Is that something that maybe he needs to control? Maybe that's something that a team management needs to ask him to control. If it is Yes, it can be
Okay.
curbed, but
Mm.
if it is not, then I don't think there's a problem. I think I remember that episode
Mm.
that he had with Liton Das in the Chattogram Test match,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, where both of them kept going at each other, and Kohli from the slip also started putting his two words in, and then when Siraj said something to Liton, and Liton said, "What did you say?" And then
Mm.
the next ball, he bowled a beautiful delivery that came in and
Mm.
castled Litton. And
Mm.
then Virat from the slip said this. So
Yeah.
so that works for him. Being
Okay.
aggressive
Okay.
works for him.
Mm.
Uh, it's
Okay.
just that it's just that he has lost, I think, his action and his
Yeah.
rhythm,
Mm.
which also happened in that Edgbaston test match, which India went to complete the
Yeah.
5-match series, where he concentrated excessively on the wobble seam, and
Mm.
instead of just using the normal seam of delivery, which he's so good at.
Okay, Ravi Shankar Kumar, let's take his comment. Sahil is back with us. Prasidh Krishna will be more lethal than any other bowler in this series. What do you think, Sahil? Because we'll take a few more comments after this. Um, why I'm asking this question is I think it's a good point. Not that he will be. मैं prediction की बात नहीं कर रहा. Why is it a good point? Because somebody is picking Prasidh Krishna and saying, कि, okay, you know what? It's high time that this guy needs to deliver. That is the point. अभी थोड़ी देर पहले भी यही बात हो रही थी कि the team management backs you, the team management likes you, the selectors like you. Despite only 20 first class matches, they think the talent is there, the ability is there, the time to deliver is now, because India's bowling attack is on the cusp of a transition. We are searching for a bowler exactly like you, and now it's the time to deliver.
I think this happened with Prasidh Krishna, I think a couple of seasons back, where they were looking at him as an all format bowler. They tried
Yeah.
him out, but I think with Rajasthan Royals, he was there when he picked up an injury and he missed the entire season. And since
Yeah.
then, it has been that frustrating tale of Prasidh Krishna missing games due to injury. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that hasn't helped anyone. As a bowler, you can't be that fragile. You keep picking injuries here and then. I think India A versus England game was another instance where he picked up that injury before the England series or missed that series.
Yeah.
Something of that sorts happened. So that has been going on, right? So Chetan, I think
Mm.
ingredients are right there when it comes to Prasidh Krishna. Very likable ingredients of a fast bowler. You would like that fast bowler in your kitty, but again, that fitness has to be there so that he can like kind of last 6-7 over spells. मैं तो अभी 25 ओवर स्पेल की बात ही नहीं कर रहा, 6-7 ओवर ये फुल टिल डाल सकते हैं अंडर प्रेशर. मतलब वो I have my doubts over that because that sample size isn't there to convince me. I don't have that sample size to convince me. That's the biggest fear which I carry when I talk about or think about Prasidh Krishna.
In fact, that sample size आपको first class cricket में भी नहीं मिल रहा है. That is a big problem, right? कि आपने, because he's only played 20 odd matches, right? Let's take a few more comments. Or I think this comment is very, I'm not, look, I'm not gonna pull down the Indian bowlers or pull down the Indian bowling attack, but it is a very vital comment. Why? जो मैंने अभी थोड़ी देर पहले कहा था कि once the pitch stops doing stuff and the Kookaburra ball goes soft, how are you going to trouble the Australian batters? And the reason why I say this is because Australia do not have an opener. They are still identifying कि भैया दूसरा opener कौन हो. But despite the fact that Travis Head has scored so many runs, they've never said कि हम Travis Head को ऊपर ले जाएंगे. उसका reason ये है because Travis Head on those batting tracks, when they become absolute beautiful batting tracks and the Kookaburra goes soft, he just scores runs at will. So again, Shaukat Mir का ये सवाल है, let's twist the question. Do we have the bowlers to stop the Aussie batters when the Kookaburra goes soft? That's the big question mark. Let's start with Dopayan, then Nitin.
Okay, Chetan. First things first, let's not forget that this
Hmm.
Australian team lost a test match against
Hmm.
West Indies not too long ago.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
they are
I think earlier this year, yeah.
they are a good they are a good side.
Hmm.
They obviously were world test champions, so they are good, but it is not as good as we are making them out to be. Like, they also have
Yeah.
fragility, they also have this tendency of going. And I was watching this India A Australia A game also, this McSweeney etc. no great shakes. Like
Hmm.
it's fine. It's going to get down to again Steve Smith, again Marna Slabushan. So yeah, so, but if we get the wickets early, and you are saying like how to control, like when the ball goes soft. See, we are not have not brought this in, but the spinner has to come into play. The left arm
Yes.
spin of Jadeja. After that,
Yeah.
he has to be tight. He has to shut one end up so that the pressure of runs start building. And this Australian team, even if they do not play basketball, they cannot. They are not very patient players. None of them are like
They will look to score
so
runs.
they will look to score runs. They will look to score runs, and boom. And the third thing is Bumrah. A fit Bumrah doesn't need a pitch, doesn't need a ball, doesn't need anything. Just give him a Kokabura, give him an SG. He will do his job. So there, it is not probably on the bowling front. It is not as doom glue and gloom as we are
Hmm.
making it out to be. And the
Hmm.
Australian batting is good, but not great. I am saying not
Okay,
great.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, no, look, again, I did not mean कि मतलब गए सीरीज गए ऐसा नहीं है मतलब it's a game, right? It's sport at the end of the day, and up and downs keep happening, so we will get them out as well. But मेरा जो concern है, and again I'm trying to underline here, Nitin, and I'll take another comment here. And Namish Juneja कह रहे हैं Boland is giving me sleepless nights because he's the kind of bowler McGrath was. Keep hitting the channel. He also has that pace. You know, and Dwapayan had mentioned the West Indies series. West Indies bowlers, I think was it Shimar. He had a lot
Yeah,
of pace. We
Shamar,
don't
yeah,
Kumar
have
Shamar.
Joseph.
Shimar Joseph. Yeah, we don't have. उसी से ही compare करूं मैं. We don't have a bowler with that level of pace. अभी हम सर्च कर रहे हैं somebody who holds that line, who holds that workhorse job. So the lack of pace, if Bumrah is fit, yes, एक end से आपको वो pace मिल जाएगा. Siraj, can he deliver that pace for 10 for an 8 over spell? Can Prasidh hold it? That can be a worrying point. Your thoughts?
Yeah, you need somebody to bowl 135 plus,
Hmm.
sustained speeds of 135 plus,
Hmm.
and basically you're missing. Now you would realize the value that Ishant Sharma gave you all those years back,
Hmm.
consistently, across tours, across conditions. England
Hmm.
2021, Australia 2018,
Okay.
England 2014. He was somebody who could bowl that length, who could bowl that line, and he could basically bowl dry, you know, and he would allow the other attacking bowlers to go for wickets and allow the captain to set fields where he could control the game. Now you
Okay.
don't have that. Basically, you're missing that pack of Umesh, Shami, Ishant, uh, Bhuvi
That extra
to a
pace.
very no that quality of collective seam
Yeah.
attack that we had that has kind of withered away, and this is what causes me to get a little worried that we don't have that quality in this
Yeah.
attack
Yeah.
to bowl teams out consistently, and that is why I
Okay.
feel that our batters have to give us 350 plus in almost every game, every
Yeah.
innings, so that the
Hmm.
bowlers can be a little effective.
Sahil, I just want to twist the question to you in a different way, and we'll quickly take that one question from you. You just, whenever you travel overseas, अगर आप कोई टीम इंडिया आती है तो आप देखते हो कि उनकी bowling attack कैसा है. वो क्या करते हैं? वो यहाँ के bowling attack को copy करने की कोशिश करेंगे according to the conditions, of course. Similarly, when India goes overseas, you need to compare with the bowling attack the host team has. So you look at Australia's bowling attack: a Pat Cummins, a Hazelwood, a Mitchell Stark, a left arm pacer. You don't have that. Scott Boland. So these are four fast bowlers. Apart from Bumrah, we don't have the quality, जैसे नितिन कह रहे हैं, just to even compare with the kind of bowling attack that they have, and that I feel is a big negative for India, and that could decide the series. And Ujjwal Maurya का comment लेते हैं, Cummins and Lyon, बस इनको dominate कर लो, then it will be easier for us. Do you agree with this comment?
No, yeah, they'll be relentless, yeah. Like
Yeah.
for 40, 50 overs, you won't see them like letting go of anything. And it just won't be Pat Cummins or Nathan Lyon, Mitchell
Hmm.
Stark, Hazelwood, Boland. all these bowlers are like quality bowlers. And what Nitin bhai mentioned about that India pace attack which had traveled before, may, like quickly you get memories of those matches, right? And one thing which stood out from that bowling combination was how they complemented each other very well. Right now, because all these guys haven't played together, I don't see that synergy and harmony in our pace bowling attack. And to a certain extent, I felt that missing even during the ODI World Cup campaign till the time Shami came and started playing games. Bumrah
Yeah.
and Siraj, I don't think that's
Hmm.
a match made in heaven with the new ball. I still don't feel. और वो आपको उसका कमी आपको आप उसका कमी आपको कम तब होता हुआ दिखा जब मोहम्मद शामी फाइनली खेले, जब हार्दिक इंजर्ड हुआ, तब आपको वो
Hmm.
पेनिट्रेशन दिखा. सो बुमराह और सिराज के साथ मतलब अगेन the pace attack which we have assembled good. You have ingredients. You wanted a left arm seamer. You looked at Yash Dayal, but then you thought you don't need a swing bowler. You didn't trust much in Khalil Ahmed. Arshdeep you thought is still undercooked, so you didn't take a left arm seamer. Fine, fair enough. But आप बहुत ज़्यादा hit the deck वाला template की तरफ चले गए हो. And unfortunately, I think you don't have a pack which could hunt together and complement each other, just like Ashwin and
Yeah.
Jadeja,
Yeah.
and even Akshar and Kuldeep when they played with these two spinners, they tend to complement each other very well when they were bowling in tandem. वो मेरे को
Hmm.
थोड़ा off लग रहा है इस attack के composition में. I could be wrong.
Hmm.
By the time the first test gets underway, maybe they crack something in Perth before the series gets underway. We hope that. But right now,
Hmm.
वो थोड़ा एक confidence कम inspire कर रहा है fast bowling
Yeah.
department से.
Well, we are keeping an eye on left arm paces. उसमें कोई गलत बात नहीं है. We are, but अभी वो आ नहीं रहे हैं. अभी आप खलील की अगर हम बात करें, he played that Ranji Trophy. I was there in Dharamsala. He walked off in the second innings. He did not have enough energy or enough stamina or enough fitness really to go on and play entire Ranji match. He bowled
Hey,
decently
Chetan,
well in the first innings.
you were just mentioning about Khalil. I
Yeah.
want to mention about Khalil. Last year was, I think, his first proper full season for Rajasthan in red ball. उससे
Yeah.
पहले उन लोग ने ये
हाँ,
खलील हुआ,
वही है.
दीपक चहर हुआ, राहुल चहर हुआ, ये सब कितना रेड बॉल खेले राजस्थान के लिए. आप
Exactly.
इनका नंबर
नहीं, but
देखो.
Khalil, I'm
तो
talking specifically
ये अभी
from a left arm
अर्जेंसी,
perspective.
yeah, that's what I'm saying कि अभी अर्शदीप I think is the most unfortunate case because I personally thought he could have excelled as a red ball bowler. वो जब under 23 CK
But
नायडू खेल के आया था पंजाब के लिए, he took I
hmm,
think 40-50 wickets for Punjab during his breakthrough season when he went on to play
yes.
Ranji Trophy और पंजाब. बट अब उसके आप कोच से बात करोगे जो जसवंत राय उसके चाइल्डहुड कोच है, वो यही कहते हैं पुत्र असी की करिए नहीं व्हाइट बॉल खेल रहे हैं, मतलब फॉर द
नहीं,
मासेस
but that's
वो
the
इतना
thing.
व्हाइट
No,
बॉल
but that's
खेल
where
रहे हैं कि आप
hmm.
उसको रेड बॉल सैंपल साइज दे ही नहीं पा रहे हो. सो कहां से आएगा
नहीं,
फिर
but
लेफ्ट
I
आर्म
want to
सीमर
bring
जो आप.
Dwapayan in here, but Dwapayan, that's यहाँ पे जो point है with Arshdeep, I feel somebody like an Arshdeep, he's hit, he's hit a roadblock, and this is about management. Yes, he's great at white ball, तो यहाँ पे आपको manage करना है ना कि आप ऐसे बॉलर को रेड बॉल में लाने की कोशिश करोगे, बिकॉज लाइक साहिल मेंशन ब्रेक थ्रू सीजन, बट ही इज हिट अ रोड ब्लॉक जहां पे उसकी डेवलपमेंट एज अ बॉलर इज नॉट हैपनिंग बिकॉज देयर इज जस्ट टू मच वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट. और वाइट बॉल में भी ही इज नॉट रियली, ही इज अर्शदीप, ही इज नॉट प्रोग्रेसिंग टू द लेवल ऑफ somebody like a Bumrah, right? He's staying where he is because there is not enough room to grow, and I think that's where somebody like Arshdeep is stuck. Very quickly from you.
See, the thing about Arshdeep is that what has Arshdeep done with the red ball in Ranji Trophy?
Yeah.
Has he done anything significant? I am not very sure. If he
No.
hasn't,
First
so
season
there
was
is,
breakthrough, that's it.
so
Yeah.
there is no sample size to work with. And yes, he is seen for a very specific purpose in white ball cricket, to keep it full, bowl those one tight over here. He's more of a T20 bowler even than an ODI bowler. He's just seen for T20s, and these guys are still, they are obsessed about keeping their fitness levels high for IPL. That is another thing. So they are probably slightly wary of going through the rigors of a long red ball season in domestic cricket. So as long as these things are not happening, I do not see where Arshdeep's chance in red ball cricket comes in, unless of course there is somebody who sees great potential in him and takes him to the in the test team, as was the case with Jasprit Bumrah. Like, he did not have a very big sample size of red ball bowling, but
No, but
he
here I want to mention this. Here I want to mention this ahead of the South Africa series in 2018. It started 4 months prior. हम दिसंबर
हाँ
में गए थे 2018 में. Yeah. No wait,
January
January
28th.
January 2018 में गए थे.
हाँ
2017 में September में Bharat Arun and Ravi Shastri and Virat
बस
Kohli got together and they said we want
इसको
Jasprit
लेके
Bumrah
जाना है.
in that first test.
हाँ
They kept
हाँ
it under wraps and they prepared him. So
at
वो
NCA.
मैनेजमेंट वो सेलेक्टर एंड मैनेजमेंट एमएसके प्रसाद, रवि शास्त्री, भारत अरुण, विराट कोहली, दे वर ऑल ऑन बोर्ड विद द फैक्ट कि हमें जसप्रीत बुमराह को एक रेड बॉल बॉलर बनाना है. एंड आई थिंक वो स्टेप अप आपको देना पड़ेगा टू सम. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल हियर. आई एम नॉट सेइंग
Hmm.
अर्शदीप will become Bumrah. Arshdeep hasn't become Bumrah in white ball cricket despite all his talent. वो वहीं पे
Yeah
he stuck at that Arshdeep level. So
yeah
the management has to come, the selectors and the team management has to come together and say, ki, what do they want to do with a bowler like Arshdeep? So that was that's our show for today. But before we finish, we will also get some breaking news for white ball cricket since we talked about it last. Let's get that news because a certain legend of the game has registered for the IPL, and Nitin, he's never played in the IPL before, and I think that, ठीक है, he's retired now, and I want to bring in 2018 I had interviewed James Anderson before the India England Test series, and he said कि unless and until I retire from Test cricket, I'm not going to consider playing IPL. And I was very happy when I saw this that he's entered into the IPL, that we might get a chance to see him. Do you think there's going to be a market for him? He's coming in at base price. Do you think there's going to be a market for him?
Unlikely, Chetan. Unlikely.
Okay.
He'll get hammered. He'll get hammered. I mean, he'll get hammered. I mean, he
Okay.
will, you'll see pinch hitters putting their foot out and just
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
bowls he bowls he bowls that hitting length. No, he bowls
Hitting
that
length.
balls
Okay.
up to the
Yeah.
bat, good
Okay.
length balls
Sahil
or full.
Gopayan, do you agree with that?
yeah.
Anderson going unsold?
He like what Nitin
Chennai
is
Super
saying
Kings
is
will be
in a
Kohli's
way it's
hub.
yeah in a way what he's saying is right, but then one team which loves experience is CSK. So, so I won't be surprised if
Yeah,
if they pick him up for the base price, and then
yeah,
3 games, 2 games, 3 games,
yeah. You never know,
the
right?
ball moves. You
Cutters,
never know. Like
cutters on the
CSK
slow
में
wicket. Yeah.
हाँ
Yeah.
हाँ और वहाँ पे वो that समुंदर का
You have
वो
those.
that हवा
Yeah.
भी आता है तो थोड़ा इधर उधर
You have
so
2 games in Dharamshala, 2 games in
हाँ
Guwahati. You never know where you might need a James
हाँ you
Anderson
never
in a
know.
T20
So
game, right? But
and CSK loves
of course,
oldies. So
yeah, of course, we have Mitchell Stark, Josh Hazelwood, we have Jofra Archer. They are going to be in the IPL auction as well, so it's going to be very interesting. Of course, it's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia, 24th and 25th of November. We're hoping to bring you something special, and of course, we'll be coming to you every day during the BGT as well. आज से हम build up करना शुरू कर रहे हैं for the Border-Gavaskar Trophy, and of course, in time the IPL auction as well. So keep joining us on TOI Sports, just like our panelists do. Thanks to Dopayan, Nitin, and Sahil for joining me once again on the show. This was Beyond the Boundary today. Tomorrow, 6:30, we'll be back once again. Do join us, and thank you for joining us and for your comments today to all the viewers. See you soon. Thank you.